What's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my Boston Bruins Franchise Mode series here on NHL 17. And in this episode, we wrap up this season, but I'm not sure what the team is going to look like, really beyond the trade deadline. Obviously, we have some questions for our future that really need to be answered, what we're going to do with Krejci and Bergeron, and there have been calls to trade Bergeron already. There have been calls to trade him at the draft. Some people saying keep him throughout the whole series. Same with David Krejci. Trade him now, trade him at the draft. No one's really saying keep him for the entire thing. And there are players that we could go out and get who might not be immediate improvements on David Krejci, or there are some who might be immediate improvements on David Krejci. But depending on what side of the realism line you fall on, you'd either love the trade or absolutely hate the trade. Regardless, we are going to keep the team the same for now. Of course, we are at the All-Star break. Unfortunately, Torrey Krug is still injured. But we will see how this team performs as we approach the trade deadline. A lot of questions, still a very tight race in the Atlantic Division. And as you can see, we have quite a few games. It is a leap year, so the trade deadline is on March 1st. March is a crazy month too. 4 games, very busy. A very busy schedule moving forward. We will sim to February 29th, and we will take a look then at how this team is doing and whether or not we should make a deal. Let's find out. February. Not so kind to us. We're still in a playoff spot, the first wildcard spot. Actually, both wildcard teams are in this division, but we are now 7 points back of Montreal for first place, with 21 games to go. We are in a much more difficult spot than I would hope. Really the midway point, well, actually not even the midway point of the month. We really struggled here down the stretch with only 2 wins. Only 2 wins, Detroit and the Islanders. So the question is now, do we make a big trade in hopes that it really turns the team around, or do we just stay the course and see what happens? Some of our top players are really underperforming. I mean, 47 points in 61 games for Jeff Skinner isn't terrible, but if we take a look at the league here, it's not ideal. Oh my God, Jesus. Well, Brock Besser, would have been nice to get him, huh? I'm kind of pissed he turned us down. But you look at the league lead in points right now. Patrick Kane, 74 points. 74. Skinner has 47. We need to figure it out. It's either we're just going to kind of stay the course, see what happens, and potentially miss the playoffs, or we are going to have to make a big move, if not a series of big moves, and just hope for the best, which isn't exactly the most comforting way to go about this. Oh boy. All right. Let's figure this out. So here's the deal. We are in a pretty rough spot, as we have established. As far as a trade goes, like I said, we have some options, some expensive options, but you look at this team. Pastrnak, Skinner, Seguin, not doing as well as you'd like. You could potentially trade them with their value to get just about anybody, shy of, say, a Connor McDavid. Then you have David Krejci, who you could definitely use to get somebody. Bergeron still has good value, but again, we are not decided as to whether or not we are keeping him. And then defensively, of course, we picked up Lampkin at the draft in the Kyle Turris trade, but then you have the likes of Carlo and Zaboral, who haven't really progressed at all this year, and I'm afraid they might not. So you could say trade them, get a good defenseman, maybe try to get a Tyson Barrie, maybe Ekman Larson, I'm not entirely sure. Try to get that. But then you could argue, well, they're in the same spot that Malcolm Subban was in, where you get rid of them, and then next offseason, Carlo will be an 88, Zaboral will be an 85, and then you'll feel like an idiot. So we're in a spot where if we make a deal, it really could come back to haunt us. But if we don't make a deal, there is a strong, strong chance that we will miss the playoffs this year. But with the way I like to play the game, sometimes, not all the time, we're gonna stay with the team we have right now. And that might cost us, that might really cost us this year, but I don't want to trade a prospect and have them turn into this amazing player. Granted, we have been waiting for Carlo to progress for quite a while now, and it hasn't happened, but you never know. The only thing we can hope for is that his value won't drop if we hold on to him for the rest of this year. I mean, he is a good defensive, shutdown player. So obviously he's never going to put up major point totals. But with the sim, it always plays out differently. And I will show you guys this for an example. It always plays out differently. We have Jacob Larson in the fantasy draft series. He is still low 80s. Not here. He's a 94. We're using the same exact roster with the same exact potentials in both series. He's up to a 94. Did I say 84? He's up to a 94. Like, it's ridiculous. You never know how certain players are going to pan out. Connor McDavid in the fantasy series, I'm pretty sure still like a 93, a 94. He's a 98 in this series. You do not know. You have no idea as to whether or not a player is actually going to progress the way you think they would. But anyway, let's not waste too much more time. We are going to sim probably to April 1st. Yeah, we'll sim to April 1st. We'll see how the team is doing at that point. And then, of course, we'll take a look at the point totals at the end of the episode. And hopefully that leads in to the playoffs for the next episode. But that is in doubt. 42, 28, and 7. March was relatively nice to us. We are currently in the first wild card spot. 2 points back of Buffalo, 3 points back of Ottawa. So we still have a chance to have home ice in the playoffs in the first round. We're not catching Montreal, unfortunately, with just 5 games to go. Here's the thing, though. Our schedule for April is pretty fucking shitty. We have a game 3 straight days. 3 straight days. Look at this. We're at TD Garden against Washington. We go to Pittsburgh and then fly back the next day to play Detroit. What is this? What is this? Anyway, let's find out if we can make the playoffs. Of course, we have been dealing with injuries. Hopefully, Gurionov will be back for the Florida game. We will have to double check. Florida, 29 and 50. God damn it. We are in the playoffs. Not too bad. Montreal is going to clinch the division. Now 2 points back of the Sabres, but 3 games in 3 days could absolutely sink us. Is he fully healthy? Gurionov is not fully healthy, so he will not be in the lineup for this game, this very important game against Florida. No overtime losses at all for the Panthers. We're on 93 points. We are now on 95. We get a big win there, and we have a chance. We still could technically catch the Habs. We could. We could get 8 points here. We could finish on 103 points. We could catch Montreal. I doubt it, but it's possible. I don't think we're going to clean sweep the rest of the schedule here. Let's quickly take a look. Same amount of games played as Montreal, and I did the math completely wrong, didn't I? No, we have 4 games left? I'm so tired. You know what? Fuck it. We can still catch them. They haven't clinched the division. That's how we know. Or at least somebody can catch them. I haven't been up for long. I apologize. Anyway, let's sim to the next game. We'll hope Gurionov is fully healthy. Washington. Ah, boy. What do we do here? What do we do? We need to win. So Tuukka Rask has to play the majority of these games. I was hoping Alex Lyon could play the majority. Noah Gregor is going to have to be sent down. He's done okay for us. Surprisingly up to an 83. But he needs to go back down to Providence to wrap up his season. And we Oh boy, do we need to win here. I mean, the good thing is we are in the playoffs regardless, but we really could use home ice advantage. By the way, Chalowski and Grzelcyk both up to 86s. Still very concerned about Carlo and Zaboral, but we will see if they can hopefully progress sometime soon. We'll go best lines down in the AHL. Stuart Skinner is in because Hermé is hurt. Let's do this. For the love of God, beat Washington. That's all I ask. Beat Washington. Alex Lyon will be in against Pittsburgh, and then Rask back in against Detroit. Can we beat the Caps? And fucking, okay, you know what, whatever. We'll do this really quick. Defense for 6 weeks. Who gives a shit? Did we beat Washington? We did. 4-3. Not bad. Not too bad. Has Montreal clinched the division, though? They still haven't. We're now 3 points clear of Ottawa, but we are neck and neck with the Sabres. So we have to win out here to make sure. Alex Lyon, your last game of the year, you have not been tremendous this year. 16 appearances, only 5 wins, and a .905 save percentage. Hardly the goalie that he was last year. But if he can get the win here against the Pittsburgh Penguins, all will be forgiven. The Pens are a playoff team. Can we get the win? Please. We did in the shootout. It doesn't matter if we hand Pittsburgh a point. That is amazing. Did Montreal win? Did Montreal even play? Holy shit. God damn it. Buffalo won again, though. This is right down to the wire. One of the closest division title races I can remember in one of these YouTube series. Tuukka Rask looking for win number 41, and none more important than what this would be right here against Detroit, who is not a playoff team. Please don't lose this. Please. 5. Yes. 5 for 5 in the month of April. That is unreal. So at least 7 straight. Yeah, 7 straight wins down the stretch. It was looking like we were going to be a wild card team. There is a chance. Actually, there isn't a chance. I don't think there's a chance. Montreal has 1 game to go. If they lose, we might jump them. The good news is we will have home ice advantage against Buffalo if Montreal wins. So I'm cool with that. And Montreal wins on the last day of the season to clinch that division title. But we have made the playoffs as the number 2 team, not necessarily the 2nd seed. We will have home ice advantage against Jack Eichel and the Buffalo Sabres in the first round of the playoffs. Didn't win the division title. I'm sorry. We missed out by 2 points. And hey, this team, you could argue, regressed, with getting rid of some of the players that we did. We still finished in 2nd place. So that's not too bad with someone like Jesse Gabrielle, Hunter Smith, and even Cole Castles, who's up to an 85. So that is not too bad. But quickly, let's take a look at our player stats for this year so we can wrap this up and get to that first round matchup against Buffalo even more quickly. That's English. I do still wonder though if it wasn't if it was the right decision to keep the team as it is, because we do have some draft picks we could have used, but I don't know. We will focus on that later. It is all about the playoffs right now. Jeff Skinner, our leading scorer, 65 points in 82 games. Stromwall with 61. Pasternak would have broken 60 had he not missed out due to a few injuries. Same with Tyler Seguin. 54 points for Krejci, 45 for Senyshyn, and 39 for DeBrusk. Only 37 points for Patrice Bergeron. But you could argue he is in that, third line center, defensive shutdown center role. We're not looking for offense out of him. Perhaps the most disappointing player this year was Gurianov, only 36 points in 67 games. When you're playing with, David Krejci and then either Pasternak or Stromwall as your right wing, only 36 points is tremendously disappointing. And then you have someone like Cole Castles, 12 points, 11 for Smith, and 8 for Gabrielle. Obviously, that fourth line is a little bit worse than I was hoping. I was hoping we'd have at least one 20-point scorer out of that. But we do have some players down in the AHL that could get call-ups, and obviously a couple of them did. Trent Frederick has his first NHL goal. Strome, Taratukin got some playing time this year. So it's an interesting team, and in the playoffs, the sim definitely plays out a little bit differently. 57 points for Dougie, 48 for Kerslick, 39 points for Chalowski, and then it really drops off from there. And then the goaltending, no question who our starter is moving forward. That is Tuukka Rask. Alex Leone, only 17 appearances, 6-6-3 with a .905 save percentage. Something I forgot to do, I think, for most of last year. The rookies, which I don't think we'll have it's Brock Besser. No question about that. Brock Besser will be the Rookie of the Year. Patrick Kane wins the scoring race by 12 points over Mitch Marner. That is absolutely ridiculous. Guys, this episode has gone on long enough. Whether or not I made the right choice for the long-term picture remains to be seen, but for now, we are once again a playoff team, and in the next episode, we take on the Sabres in the first round. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well, and if you are, make sure to hit that like button to help support me and my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. What are you possibly waiting for? You're watching the video right here, right now. Now is the moment. Hit that button, please, and I will see you guys in the next one.